Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to me gushing about Devil May Cry 5 for as long as I need to, because oh my god, has that game... I'm not sure if it's just a moment when I played it, like where I was just super bored and dealing with some stuff and it was just a perfect amount of escapism, or if it was just, for me, having just beat it, and we're not going to get into spoiler things, I don't think, I'll warn you if we do, but to me it was the best. Have you ever heard the expression of someone saying like, if the first one's good, then the ones following it will never be the case? Most people just say it's never going to be as good as the first one that was so great because it did all the things first, right? It's basically like sequels are okay, but they'll never be what the original was. And to me, I've never agreed with that statement. I've always just enjoyed things, but I've never felt like a sequel was just amazing, like undoubtedly better, fantastic. And again, this is all my opinion, but I just think Devil May Cry 5 delivered on everything that I loved about the series and more. In terms of like having these characters, like having so much to play. That's one of the things. So beforehand we had like Nero and Dante, but with this game, with Devil May Cry 5, we have Nero, Dante, as well as V, as well as potentially another character later down the road, which they usually do anyway. But alright, let's start with one thing at a time. The combat in this game is done in such a incredibly clever way, but it's also at the annoyance of the player in a weird way. So one of the things that they do constantly in the game is they break momentum. So when you're playing this character, say Nero, and you're finally starting to get down like 2 or 3 devil breakers, and you're finally starting to get at least S, not triple S, but S, you're like, awesome. They switch you to another character, because in that same thing, and it's also a way to elongate the story without having to like make thousands of different maps, which is just clever. So they'll switch you to another character to play through a similar encounter. They're like going a different way basically, and you get a whole new skill palette to play with, and each character is quite drastically different. My only complaint gameplay wise is Nero, because Nero feels incredibly wonky, and when you beat the game you find out why. And then you can start New Game Plus and you'll be like, okay, this feels like a proper, fully fledged out character. But you always feel like you're missing something with Nero. So how in the game it makes it sound is it goes Dante's #1, top dog, strong as shit, been doing it forever, makes sense. Then it goes Nero, and then it goes V. Playing the game, I fully disagree with this. I think Dante and V are pretty close. At least to me. Maybe it's just the way you play, and those ways of play kind of fall into a certain habit or a pattern that those characters amplify. I don't know. But that was the gist that I got. And Nero is at the bottom, even though he has access to all these breakers. A lot of the breakers to me just didn't fit. Like they felt like a weird beta test for combat design, you know what I mean? Like where it's just like, we were testing this and we weren't sure about it, and then some crazy developer was like, make it a full-fledged thing, put it in the game, which I love because it's a choice, right? You can choose to not use the breakers that you don't want to and whatnot, but it still felt like with how strong they were making Nero out to be, it didn't feel like he had teeth. He didn't feel like he was, at least to me, and I tried to mess around with every combo that I seen. Maybe after this I should Google like Nero S rank, just to see if I'm messing up or something's happening. Even though I know Nero is very rhythmic with his sword, like you can tap the LT trigger and he'll power up his sword and all those things. But yeah, and maybe you need to really just be like relentless with your breakers, but I was super cautious. Like I didn't want to break my breaker so I wouldn't use it when I knew I would get hit, but also I never broke my breaker, my gauntlet, to get to the next one that would be better in that situation, because I didn't want to break my shit and have to buy new ones. So maybe that was just me being conservative. Maybe I'd have a lot better time with Nero if I was just like, and next one, like switching a magazine and a gun rather than being like, I don't want you to break, so please stay with me. Also, I heard a lot of people talk about how like V was like, they weren't sure about it. Maybe I'm the only one. I hate V as a character. I think he sucks. he's the epitome of like, ugh. With me, just in terms of like style, personality, like let me sit under a tree and play a guitar and only only say horrible and sad things. But his kit is awesome, and his idea of a character is equally as amazing. And that's something that I didn't realize for so long, because we went such a long time without having a Devil May Cry game, is that the people that make this game are so immensely creative, and this game to me screams it. Like, the fact that they were able to make 3 characters, do a different spin on most of them. Even Dante, at least if hopefully I'm not misremembering, but in this game you get like an entirely different combat set. And I don't want to spoil anything, but basically, like, you can, like, the stuff that you already know how to do, you can do stuff on top of that, just by hitting another button. You have a sword and you unlock some things with it, and it gets really cool. I'll just say that. But yeah, and then with Nero, again, I think you're supposed to use the breakers a lot more, but for me with Nero, I was trying to use combos more, which again only really become rewarded when you beat the game. Yeah. Anyways, also with my one complaint about gameplay is that Nero's pistol sucks. Like, it has no use, but yet it takes up the prominent attack button, which is square or X, whichever button it is for you on your console. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? You assign this to this shitty pistol that just does fucking nothing for the entire time, and it just sucks the whole time. But yeah, back to V. V to me was, in general, the character design is, I don't like it, but the character's function, like having these 2 beasts, and then also just powering them up is great. The only thing that V kind of falls apart in his combat and gameplay design is that his lock-on in the game is not that good. It's very jarring, and I feel like they said that you could like flick the stick and it would lock on to another person. Never worked for me. Don't know why, or if I messed up somehow and you have to hit the bumpers or something. Don't think that's the case, because those affect combos.
Now you click the stick and it's equally as awkward.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lock-on system was really bad, as well as I don't think they explained to you that Shadow, his like saber-toothed panther thing, is ranged to you. So it's like anchored to you more than your bird. Your bird can go anywhere. Your panther, I believe, has to kind of stay on top of you. So you may be like, okay, I'm going to try to get some distance away from my enemy, but then the panther will like reset at you, and you're like, oh shit, and then you got to like run back, except you can't really focus on your panther because you're focusing on the flying bird because you're trying to use both attacks. As well as, I hated that, I wish that they would have assigned like the LT button or something, and then like activate the D-pad would be the thing that powers up your animals, and LT would activate your combos. So you hold LT down and you do whatever directional thing you got to. Because to me it was so frustrating playing V, like backpedaling because an enemy's about to slash my face open, and me hitting square, and then my bird, who was like doing a combo, immediately stops and like does this caca thing right above me, and I'm like, damn it, because that's one of the combos is you holding back and hitting a button, or hitting the attack button, which recalls him to you. So just some undersight there, or maybe that's what they wanted you to do so that it wasn't just so button smashing, and you had to like make sure that you were staying put. And as V, you're kind of supposed to stop moving. But to me, that's not the way I play. I always move at least left to right or something. But yeah, to me the idea with V just summoning these death monsters that just rip everything to shreds, and they do not stop, is one of the coolest like mage characters I've seen in a video game ever done. Again, the character's not that bad, to be fair. I just don't like his aesthetic. I like it. For Nero, for me, well, okay. We've been gushing about the game for a little bit. My only criticism, the only thing that I have after playing the whole game, to me this may be crazy to you guys, but this game is like a 9 or like an 8.5, like so close, if not a very, very strong 9, because it's just, again, maybe it's just that I've been playing a lot of these games like looter shooters, and this was just nice to just be consistent, good, and just the story of it, man. I'm not sure if I'm just alone, but I've loved the story in all the DMC games, except for like 3, 2, and 1, because they didn't really have much of a story. 3 was kind of better. But anyways, my only criticism with the entire game is there used to be this subtlety with characters that I really liked a lot. So for instance, in Devil May Cry 4, which is a game that I know people are kind of in the middle about, just because of the way that it was paced out with like playing characters, but to me, I really liked Nero as a character, and that was one of my entry points into DMC, or Devil May Cry, was Devil May Cry 4. Weird, because, you know, I never got really to look at Dante. I was like, who's this evil bastard who's killing a priest? Anyway, Nero as a character to me was awesome because he was very subtle. Like, yes, he was that kind of like rogue, whatever, resistant, rebellious kind of person, but he wasn't insulting. At least it didn't feel that way. Like, to me, it was a perfect thing where there's a scene in Devil May Cry 4 where Nero's walking away, and there's like this giant demon that he crosses paths with, and it's like lit up an entire town. And Nero does like this weird twirl to show off his like demonic, superhuman, god-level strength to like create a torrent of wind that just cools down every house because it's fucking anime and whatnot. But anyways, and I don't, unless I'm mistaken, I may be mistaken about the character, the old character, but he wasn't like, I'm gonna cut off your balls, like, you know what I mean? It was like this subtleness, and even to like him being frustrated or something like that was like this, not like, ugh, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's like this super, every character feels like they're knocked up to 10 when it comes to like the way that they react, especially Nero, which it was frustrating because Nero was, I would consider Nero really fucking cool. Maybe that's just my stupid brain because I played it when I was younger, but he was that, again, he wasn't super in your face. Again, it was subtle. So that's my only criticism, and that was a personal criticism for the story and stuff, was that I liked when every character was just toned down a touch. Like, I love the anime batshit craziness, but Nero comes across as arrogant and petty a lot of the time, and rather than his old self, which was like, listen, man, I'm a fucking demon. I've been isolated from society, basically, and I have this one angelic feature in my life, and no way in hell am I letting that angelic feature or person be hurt in the slightest. All while not saying it like that, speaking with actions rather than words, which was, to me, was very compelling from a character standpoint. And yeah, that's my only little thing, is that I wish, and again, V is similar to this. Like, again, V goes fucking hard into like the, let me open up a book and read fucking Mozart or something, and I'm like, okay, great, great. When you didn't have to be that way, you know, you didn't have to be. But then again, I love the notion that everyone's at like a, shit's crazy in this world. But it hurt me to see that Nero got utterly reworked in that sense. And even visually, like visually, Nero to me looked fucking rad. He had like this red like jacket thing, and then this blue coat that kind of hanged over it, and his arm was like completely shown. And now Nero's just wearing like the most baggy shit ever, and it's just like this giant fucking coat that's like 3 sizes too big, and his arm looks super tiny, and when he does it, when he crosses his legs, it looks like they break. That's another thing. Whenever someone crosses their legs in this game, it's like, it always fucks with me because it looks like they break in their damn legs. Maybe it's just me, but also what you guys are watching in the background is me just. I thought how I would handle upcoming videos for the game, because I love this game so much that I really want to do something special for it. I thought I would just do a simple like beginning, middle, and end kind of series. So I show you guys the beginning of the game, then we jump back to when I'm like a little bit more familiar with the game in the middle, and then at the end, hopefully I'm more well versed and I can show you guys how it ends, and I can show you guys, you know, reacting to the ending basically. I thought another good idea would be just to show you guys me doing every boss, because I think the bosses are really well done in the game and just fun and different and weird. But the more I kept playing, the more I just got absorbed into the game. And I think, and this is crazy and it's stupid to do this in 2019, because boy howdy has a time passed for full Let's Plays. But I know way back in the day, the one thing that I actually searched for was, because I think I got close to beating Devil May Cry 4. I like the game, the combat was too wonky for me, and I was younger, so I didn't really get, like, I didn't have the drive to, like, learn it. Also, school was hard, and I was trying to learn that. But anyways, I went to search for, like, a New Game Plus Let's Play of Devil May Cry 4, and I found, like, one, and I think the dude stopped doing it, so I had to finish this. I had to, like, find another Let's Play and finish all the way through. But basically what I would always search for when I was looking for any Let's Play was New Game Plus, because that was my way of making sure that the person that was playing wasn't terrible at playing, or at least had the backing of a shit ton of abilities to help them, so that you didn't have to see the growing pains of a person playing. So to me, I think that's what I'll do. That would be the Let's Play that I would search for, is a Devil May Cry 5 New Game Plus Let's Play with all cutscenes, spoiler free. I'll do my best to not spoil anything. The only thing that's going to be a slight spoiler is something that I don't think is that much of a spoiler, which is Nero gets let's just say a prosthetic human looking arm. Let's just say that. Yes. Also, I'll be able to use some things. Shit. That's to me what Nero was missing. But then again, it's such a cool reveal at the end of the game, so I understand why they did what they did. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'll stop talking your ear off. This was me just gushing about Devil May Cry 5. Again, to me, I don't think that it was a perfect sequel. Like, to me, I felt that way. Like, everything about it, the characters, the combat, just the overwhelming amount of combat. Like, holy shit. If you like combo games, this game is taking care of you. Especially with Dante. That's my only little tidbit that I'm kind of disappointed with, is Dante got a fuck ton of airtime, but that's probably because in the future games, Nero is going to be like the hitter at this point. But yeah. I just love the game to pieces. I thought it was so well done. The voice acting, the animation, it visually looks amazing. If you haven't watched a Let's Play on PC max settings, which we're gonna do, it looks great. I watched a video of someone killing Virgil and it looked kind of downgraded, but then I found out it was on PC, or PS4, sorry. And yeah, I was like, my shit looks great. Also, the game is super well optimized, so you can play in like 60 FPS without a single drop of frame. Anyways. Yeah, characters wise, beautiful. I loved V, and I loved the way it ended. To me, it has one of the best endings that I've experienced in a long time. Then again, I am a sucker for DMC. I love Devil May Cry. It's just the weird anime weirdness to it, as well as the combat. Because after I watched the playthrough of Devil May Cry 4, I went back and played the reboot of DMC, which got me liking the combat, and then I went back and played Devil May Cry 3, which people said you should play, and then I watched the Let's Play of both 1 and 2, because I didn't have the time to play. But yeah, I mean, I've always really loved the story of that game, of those games specifically. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, as always. That's just me gushing about Devil May Cry 5 for 18 goddamn minutes, almost 20. I could go on for longer, but I feel like it's just going to be me being like, oh my god, the ending. And I don't want to spoil the ending, but oh my god, the ending is so good. And I felt so satisfied with the way it ended. It broke all thought and like reason, and it's so good. Also, I can't wait to see where they go next, because oh my god, so good. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, as always. Subscribe button above me, 2 videos to my right. Thank you so much for your time, and goodbye.